Hello guys, and welcome to another Red Life Studio episode. Please subscribe and give me a like, and share my videos if you're enjoying them. Also, feel free to leave me a comment below. Now let's begin with today's stories.
My wife and I fought a lot at the beginning of our marriage. When our daughter was 2, we separated for about 4 months. After the first month, I noticed our wireless bill was higher than normal and went to find out why. It turned out my wife had been texting much more than usual. I did a little more digging and saw that the number she had been texting the most was a guy she knew from work, a hospital emergency room. I confronted her about it and she told me he was just someone to talk to while she and I were going through this period of separation. I didn't buy it, but we eventually settled our differences and reconciled. We've been much better spouses to each other since. That was 7 years ago, and I try to get over what went on between those two, but I can't. Last night, I couldn't take it anymore and I asked her to look me in the eye and tell me nothing happened. She ended up coming clean and we talked about it for several hours. She regards it as the worst mistake she's ever made in her life and that she was being stupid and selfish. I believe her. In a way, I feel a little better knowing I have something I can deal with. It's a very open wound at the moment, but it's a wound I can see, finally, if that makes sense. I've suggested we go into counseling. I've been harboring this anger for too long and she's been hanging onto the guilt for too long. Believe it or not, we've been a really good couple since all that mess. I'm just tired of the mental images. It doesn't help that the guy she slept with had a reputation at the ER for having a really huge dick. I wish I was making that up, but at an ER, people talk about everything apparently. I'm doing better than I was yesterday. Knowing is better than wondering. I can deal with knowing. TLDR, wife slept with another man 7 years ago during a separation. I suspected all the time and she came clean last night. I feel better knowing than not knowing and we're seeking counseling. Update. Okay, so new information has come to light. I contacted the other man. He didn't have anything to say, so I dropped it. But, when I saw my wife after work, I told her I'd talk to him, which was true. I asked her if she had anything else to add now that I'd talked to her affair partner. It all came flooding out. She didn't have the affair 7 years ago. The affair had ended 7 years ago after being an on-again/off-again thing for 2 years. I raged. I screamed. I called her every name under the sun. I kicked furniture across the room. I'm not proud of it, but 7 years of bottled-up anger came out in 30 minutes. If it hadn't been for the years we've had together since the affair and that we have a daughter, I'd have walked out the door. I'm angry. I'm hurt. And I feel alone. I can't trust anything that comes out of my wife's mouth anymore, but I'm not leaving yet. She gets one more chance. In that time until I say otherwise, her ass is mine. I get full access to phone records, email, texts, everything. I am installing a tracker on her phone so I can know where she is at all times. Counseling starts immediately. At some point during counseling, she'll call the affair partner on speakerphone and will attempt to verify her latest version of events, though I find it difficult. It could get much worse. I'll give her this, she's very aware of just how badly she's fucked up and is willing to bend over backwards to make us work. This'll all get sorted out one way or another in counseling. I feel like an emotional pendulum right now. I go from rage to weeping to emptiness to love and lust back to rage. The quiet moments are the hardest when I'm alone with my thoughts. Work gives me something to concentrate on. I hug my daughter a lot. TLDR. I contacted the affair partner and even though I didn't learn anything from him, I was able to use that as leverage to get her to tell the whole truth. Rage ensues. Edit. Okay, y'all are right, the tracker and snooping are a bad idea. I'm just angry and hurt and looking for answers in a sea of questions. Story 2. My 41F husband, 39M, had an affair 14 months ago, and even though I'm staying with him, we are now platonic. What a complete disaster. My husband, of 11 years, had an affair. When it was happening, our relationship was not going well, for a variety of reasons and circumstances. Anyway, I became suspicious of this woman and he lied to me. He lied to me so well that I believed him and let it go. Guilt got the better of him and he ended the affair, and I found out completely by accident. I know a lot of people will say I'm an idiot for staying, but after a lot of thought I decided to stay. I truly do love him. And for him, he swears that he will never again do something like this. He swears he will never put me through something like this again, nor does he himself wish to live through something like that again. Problem, since I found out, I cannot have sex with him. I tried one time and I had basically a panic attack, so he stopped. Other than that one time and occasional blowjobs, we haven't been sexual in 14 months. His affair partner was 10 years younger than me and probably 40 pounds thinner. She was better looking. She also was his type. I am not his type. He has never told me that, but I know it to be true. He loves thin, tall blondes, and his affair partner was exactly this. I am short, thicker, and brunette. He used to always watch porn with women who looked like this. I suppose it bothered me a bit, but not too much back then. I basically viewed it as a fantasy. And after all, he chose to marry me. So I didn't really care much, but then he went and had an affair with someone who looked like this, making it no longer just a fantasy. Early, during extremely emotionally charged and angry fighting over this affair, he said he had sex with her because she gave him attention and she had a hot body. He apologized after, but that's seared into my brain. I know he feels I'm heavy, and I am heavier. And I keep trying various things to lose weight, and for some reason I keep sabotaging myself. I haven't lost anything, but I can't bring myself to have sex with him. In fact, I don't act sexual at all really. We barely kiss. We cuddle all the time, but it's not sexual. It's been 14 months and when he tries I just freeze. I love him and want to be with him, but I don't want his hands on my body. I feel fat and ugly. And I keep picturing the other woman and I just want to cry. At this point, would it make more sense to just throw in the towel? He tells me living with me is like living with his sister and that if I want us to move ahead I have to at least try. But when I think about being sexual I feel so much anxiety. Does this sound like we can get past it eventually, or should I just end it? TLDR, husband had an affair 14 months ago and I still can't have sex. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.